The city of Arsa was silent that night. Not peaceful, just quiet. The kind of silence that came before something terrible. Above the black mountains, a strange red light blinked. It wasn't a star. It wasn't a drone. It was something else. Something no one had seen before. And no one was ready for what was coming. Deep underground, in a cold metal room, a girl named Selari sat in her chair. She had lived there for over 10 years, unable to walk since the day the accident took her legs. Her long silver hair touched her shoulders, and her eyes always looked out, searching, hoping. But hope was a dangerous thing that Arsa used. To be a place of joy. Aliens from many species lived together. They worked, built, and traded in peace. But then, the signals started. Messages from deep space, angry voices, threats. No one believed them at first. Until the skies opened. Selari, I had seen it on the screens. The day the war began. The invaders came fast, their ships dark and shaped like knives. They didn't speak, they didn't ask, they just destroyed. Cities fell in minutes. Families ran, soldiers fought, but they lost. And then, silence again. The invaders didn't come to rule. They came to erase. The council said help was coming. From the humans. The only race that had stopped these invaders before. The humans were different, strange, emotional, dangerous, but they were strong. And they had won impossible wars. Selari, I had never seen a human before. Only stories. Only news, she once read. About a human soldier who stood alone in front of an alien tank just to save one child. She wondered if those stories were real, or if they were just written to give people like her something to believe in. And then, one day, she met him. It started. With an explosion. The ground shook, lights flickered. Alarms screamed. Her heart raced as metal doors slammed shut above her. The room turned red. Emergency mode. She tried to reach the communicator, but her arms trembled. She couldn't even call for help. Outside her door, boots hit the ground fast, heavy. Someone was running. Then a voice. Deep, strong, not from Arsa. Anyone in there? Selari opened her mouth, but no sound came. She knocked on the wall instead. Once, twice, the door opened like it had been torn off. He stood there, tall, built like stone. Armored chest, dark uniform, face covered in dust. A scar ran down the side of his jaw. His eyes, human eyes, locked onto hers. You're safe now, he said. For the first time in years, she believed it. His name was Corporal Wyatt. He was part of the first human drop team on Arsa. His mission was to recover survivors, get intel, and slow down the invaders. He wasn't supposed to be here. This part of the sector was marked lost. But he had picked up a signal, her signal. Selari, I had no idea her old machine had still been sending out distress pings. You've been down here how long? He asked as he gently lifted her from the chair to check her injuries. 10 years. She whispered. Wyatt blinked. And no one came? She shook her head. He didn't say anything. He just gritted his teeth and looked away for a moment. When he looked back, his eyes were sharp again. Then I'm here now, and we're getting out. But it wasn't that easy. The invaders were in the tunnels. They had machines crawling through the air vents. The ground was unstable. Wyatt carried her on his back, his weapon ready in one hand, light scanning in the other. Every step echoed like a scream. Selari could feel his breath, slow and heavy. He was strong, but tired. Yet he didn't stop. Not even when the walls cracked or the tunnel filled with smoke. They reached a metal lift shaft. This will take us closer to my ship, he said. Closer? Selari asked. You mean we're not there yet? Wyatt gave a small laugh. We're not even halfway. As they entered the lift, the screen lit up. Enemy signal detected. 2 units. Approaching fast. I'll hold them off, Wyatt said, placing her gently inside the lift. No. Selari grabbed his arm. You'll die. He looked at her, not scared, not angry. Just calm. Not today, he said. And the door closed, but just before it did, she saw him smile. And then the gunfire started. The lift rattled as it moved upward, shaking with every echo of gunfire below. Selari sat inside, frozen. The walls were cold, the light was dim, and her hands would not stop shaking. She could still hear it, Wyatt's last words, that soft smile, and then the sharp blast of weapons. Why did he stay behind? The lift slowed to a stop, silence again. Two silent dots say Selari single quotes as heart pounded in her chest. She didn't want to open the door. What if the invaders were waiting? What if Wyatt? She couldn't think that. She wouldn't. She reached toward the panel. Her fingers hesitated. Then she pushed it. The door slid open with a loud hiss. No one was there. The tunnel outside was darker, but she saw emergency lights flickering on the walls, red and yellow, warning colors. She wheeled herself out, slowly, eyes scanning every corner. This part of the underground looked abandoned. Pipes hung loose from the ceiling. The floor was cracked. There were marks on the walls, black burns. Like someone had fought here before. Wyatt? She whispered, even though she knew. He couldn't hear her. A sharp sound made her stop. It came from behind the wall. Something scraping. Metal on metal. Selari turned. Her breath caught in her throat. A shadow moved, and then he stumbled out. It was him. Wyatt's armor was scratched, shoulder bleeding, but his weapon still in hand. He looked like he had fought a dozen machines. And Juan, his eyes met hers again. I told you, he said, breathing heavy. Not today. Selari wanted to cry, but she didn't. Instead, she nodded, holding back the tears. He walked to her and knelt down beside the chair. You okay? You stayed, she said softly. I always stay, Wyatt answered. That's the rule. Humans don't leave anyone behind. He tapped a small button on his wrist device. A map opened up in the air, glowing blue. We're here, he pointed, and my ship is here. Only one more level up. But the tunnels are blocked. Selari looked at the map. Then how do we reach it? There's a maintenance shaft, he said, but it's tight. No room for the chair. She froze. Wyatt looked at her gently. I'll carry you again. But Selari's voice was firm. No, not this time. I can't keep being carried. Wyatt studied her face. Then he smiled again, just a little. Then we build something. Right now. In the room behind them were broken machines, old transport droids, repair bots, wheels, tools. Wyatt's hands moved fast. Selari gave ideas. Together, they built something simple, strong. By the time they finished, they had made a harness, fitted with wheels and metal legs, powered by energy cells from the droids. It wasn't perfect. It shook, but it could lift her. It could move her. Are you sure? Wyatt asked. Selari. I took a deep breath. Turn it on. With a sharp click, the machine came to life. Selari stood. No, she rose. For the first time in over 10 years, she was upright. Not fully on her own, but standing. Her breath hitched, her eyes filled. She didn't look at Wyatt. She looked ahead. Let's go, she said. They entered the shaft, side by side. It was dark and narrow. The robotic legs hissed with each step, matching her balance. Wyatt watched closely, but he didn't touch her. She didn't want help. Not now. Halfway through the tunnel, they heard it. A low growl, not a machine. Not a voice. What is that? She asked. Wyatt single quotes. S face went still. Scavenger drone. Worse than soldiers. It hunts the weak. Selari stood tall. Then it won't find the weak here. From the shadows, the drone charged. Long limbs, sharp claws, red eyes. Fast. But Selari moved too. With new legs, she ran. Wyatt shouted, "Get down!" and fired Selari. Slid under a pipe, spinning fast. The robotic joints responded like they were part of her. The shot hit the drone's head direct. It sparked, screamed, then fell. The tunnel went quiet again. Wyatt stared at her. "How did you?" Selari looked down at her legs. "They listened to me, like they were waiting." "They're not just machines," Wyatt said. "They're bonded tech. They sync with nerve signals. It takes most people weeks to master them." Selari looked up at him. "I didn't have weeks." He smiled, proud. "No, you didn't." They reached the end of the shaft. Wyatt scanned the code. The door opened to reveal daylight, real sunlight. The first Selari had seen in years. Outside, the land was quiet. Burned, but quiet. "My ship is just over that hill," Wyatt said. They stepped into the light together. But above them, hidden in the clouds, more enemy ships were arriving. They didn't know it yet, but this escape was only the beginning. The wind was dry and heavy. Smoke floated in the air like ghost trails. Hills of broken stone and metal stretched around them. Selari squinted at the sky. Clouds moved fast, too fast. "Not natural. They're coming, aren't they?" she asked. Wyatt didn't answer. He just looked at his wrist map again. The signal from his ship blinked steady. 1 kilometer away. "We move fast," he said. "Quiet. If they see us, they'll send a scout wave." Selari nodded. Her robotic legs hummed low. As she walked, she had never walked on real ground before. Not since her childhood. Each step felt strange. Each movement felt like a test. But she didn't stop. "What happens when we reach the ship?" she asked. "We fly out," Wyatt said. "Upload everything we've seen. Send data back to High Command. Tell them what happened to Arsa." Selari looked down. "Will they help?" Wyatt's jaw tightened. "If they see what we see, they won't have a choice." The path to the ship was not smooth. Wreckage was everywhere. An old transport tower had collapsed, blocking the straight road. They had to go around it, through the ash fields. That's where they saw the first body. An alien civilian, covered in gray dust. The face was peaceful, like the person had been sleeping. But the burns on the chest said otherwise. Selari stopped. "They didn't even fight." "No," Wyatt said. "They were running." A quiet buzz hit the air. Both of them dropped. "Scout drone," Wyatt whispered. He aimed his weapon. The drone flew fast overhead, scanning. For one moment, it slowed. Selari held her breath. But the drone turned and zipped away, heading toward the north. "It didn't see us?" she asked. Wyatt stood. "Or it did, and it's calling for more." They started running. Selari moved faster now. Her legs adjusted on their own, learning her steps. Each second, they became more natural, more part of her. She didn't feel weak anymore. She felt ready. They reached the top of the last hill. And there it was. A black ship, shaped like a hawk, half buried in the sand but still intact. Wyatt smiled for the first time. "Home," he said. But as they started down the hill, a loud beep came from his wrist. Enemy signal detected. Hostile transmission received. The screen changed. Static, then a voice, not one they expected. "Unit. Wyatt, Unit Wyatt. Cease movement. This is command." Wyatt frowned. "Command?" the voice continued. "You are carrying enemy weapon tech. Unauthorized contact with experimental AI legs. Possible contamination risk." Selari blinked. "What are they talking about?" Wyatt didn't answer. He tapped the device. "This is Corporal Wyatt. Negative contamination. I rescued a survivor fitted with robotic assistance. Confirm identity." "And orders," the voice replied, but it was not human anymore. Something had changed. "Return Unit 74A to Location 0. Failure will result in ship lockout. Countdown initiated. 10 minutes." Selari's face went pale. What's unit? 7-4? Wyatt looked at her. You are, he said softly. They had lied. The robotic legs weren't normal tech. They weren't old droid parts. They were something else, experimental, human-designed, but abandoned. Too dangerous. Too advanced. But now they were bonded to her. You didn't know? She asked. Wyatt shook his head. I thought we used scrap parts, but if those legs are Unit 7-4, then Command thinks you're a weapon. Are they right? Wyatt looked down at her feet. Maybe. The ship was close now, but the sky above was no longer empty. 2 invader ships broke through the clouds. Black, spinning, fast. Wyatt aimed. We go now. Fast. Selari hesitated. What if your ship won't let me in? Then I'll blast the door open, Wyatt said. They ran. The invader ships landed far behind them, but troops spilled out like shadows, long limbs, sharp rifles, red eyes glowing. One saw them. It pointed. It screamed. They all charged. Wyatt reached the ship and slammed his hand on the side panel. Open now, he shouted. The ship scanned his ID. Unauthorized unit detected. Access denied, he shouted again. Override. This is Corporal Wyatt, the ship replied. Remove AI bonded entity. 5 minutes remaining. Say LAR. I stepped forward. They don't want me. Then they don't want me either, Wyatt said. She turned to face the hill. The enemy was coming. Hundreds. Double quotes. Give me your gun, she said. Wyatt blinked. What? I can walk now, she said. I can fight. The robotic legs adjusted. Locked. WHIR red. For the first time. Selari stood like a warrior. Wyatt gave her his backup pistol. You ever use one of these? She looked straight at the charging invaders. I'm about to. And the battle began. They came like a storm. Rows and rows of invader soldiers, red eyes glowing, claws clicking against the ground, weapons raised. They moved fast, hungry for destruction. The sound of their boots was like thunder rolling down the hill. Say LAR. I didn't move. She stood tall in front of the human ship, her new legs humming quietly beneath her. Behind her, Wyatt crouched low, weapon ready, eyes wide. But his attention was on her, not the enemy. He had never seen anyone stand like that. Not even trained soldiers. Selari, he said softly, we can still run. She didn't answer. The invaders opened fire. The air lit up with sharp red blasts. The first shots hit the ground, exploding dirt and smoke into the sky. Selari didn't blink. Her new legs moved on their own. Fast, like wind. She jumped high. So high. Even Wyatt gasped. She spun in midair, twisting like she had trained for years, landing behind the first line of invaders. Before they could turn, she was already moving. She aimed Wyatt's pistol and fired. 3 fell instantly. 1 turned to strike her, but her legs twisted. She dodged, kicked. The impact sent the creature flying into the wall. What the hell? Wyatt muttered. Say LAR. I single quotes. His body was light, fast. Every move felt easy, like dancing. The robotic legs didn't just help her walk, they reacted faster than thought. She was moving quicker than her own brain. The invaders tried to trap her. They formed a circle, closed in, but the legs lit up. Small blue lines glowed along her sides. The joints opened slightly. Steam hissed, and then she vanished. To the enemy, it looked like she had disappeared, but Wyatt saw the truth. She moved so fast, just for a second, that she became a blur. And then, in that blur, she struck. One by one, the invaders dropped, knees shattered, helmets cracked, weapons torn from claws. In 3 minutes, 15 soldiers were down. Wyatt stood slowly. They built a weapon, he whispered, but they put a soul inside it. Selari turned, panting. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from the power she felt. I don't know how I did that, she said. You're not just controlling them, Wyatt said. They're learning you, syncing with you, adapting. A warning beep came from his wrist. Final access check. Remove AI unit or ship will lock. He looked at Selari. The system still wanted her gone, but he made his choice. Stay behind me, he said. He walked to the ship panel, pulled out a drive from his belt and jammed it into the override slot. Manual mode, he whispered. The screen flashed. Override not allowed. Identity rejected. Then another voice came, mechanical, cold. The ship belongs to Protocol Command. Your mission is cancelled. Wyatt growled. You don't own us. He stepped back, raised his weapon, and shot the control panel. The ship's light flickered. Alarms went off. Inside, systems went wild. But the door opened. You blew up your own command panel, Selari said. Wyatt grinned. They can build ships, but they don't know what stubborn looks like. Inside the ship, the hallway was dark, damaged. Sparks flew from the walls, but it was flying capable. Selari. I walked beside him. Her robotic legs clicked with calm rhythm. She no longer looked like a broken girl. She looked like something the invaders should fear. They reached the control room. Wyatt powered it up. Screens lit. Engines buzzed. But then something new happened. The screen changed. A face appeared. Not human, not invader, but hers. Selari. I single quotes S face. Not her real one, but a digital version. Eyes glowing, head tilted. Hello, it said in her voice. You found me. She stepped back. What is this? The digital version spoke again. I am part of you. Your neural signal unlocked the full AI. Your legs carry a copy of me. I was waiting for you. Wyatt frowned. This is Protocol AI 74. Yes, the voice replied. But the code has changed. It is no longer pure weapon. It is now protection. Selari's hands trembled. I was just trying to walk again. And now, the AI said, you can fly. The ship shook again. Another wave of invaders had arrived outside. Louder, angrier. They don't stop, Wyatt said. Then let's not wait, Selari said. She sat in the pilot seat. Her legs connected with the console automatically. Cables extended. Lights synced. And the ship responded. The engines roared to life. Outside, the invaders raised their weapons. But Selari's voice echoed through the ship. You called me a weapon. Now you'll see why. The ship lifted. Fast. The ground exploded below as invaders fired. But she was already gone. They came like a storm. Rows and rows of invader soldiers, red eyes glowing, claws clicking against the ground, weapons raised. They moved fast, hungry for destruction. The sound of their boots was like thunder rolling down the hill. Selari. I didn't move. She stood tall in front of the human ship, her new legs humming quietly beneath her. Behind her, Wyatt crouched low, weapon ready, eyes wide. But his attention was on her, not the enemy. He had never seen anyone stand like that. Not even trained soldiers. Selari, he said softly, we can still run. She didn't answer. The invaders opened fire. The air lit up with sharp red blasts. The first shots hit the ground, exploding dirt and smoke into the sky. Selari didn't blink. Her new legs moved on their own. Fast, like wind. She jumped high. So high. Even Wyatt gasped. She spun in midair, twisting like she had trained for years, landing behind the first line of invaders. Before they could turn, she was already moving. She aimed Wyatt's pistol and fired. 3 fell instantly. 1 turned to strike her, but her legs twisted. She dodged, kicked. The impact sent the creature flying into the wall. What the hell? Wyatt muttered. Selari. I single quotes. His body was light, fast. Every move felt easy, like dancing. The robotic legs didn't just help her walk, they reacted faster than thought. She was moving quicker than her own brain. The invaders tried to trap her. formed a circle. Closed in, but the legs lit up. Small blue lines glowed along her sides. The joints opened slightly. Steam hissed, and then she vanished. To the enemy, it looked like she had disappeared, but Wyatt saw the truth. She moved so fast, just for a second, that she became a blur. And then, in that blur, she struck. One by one, the invaders dropped, knees shattered, helmets cracked, weapons torn from claws. In 3 minutes, 15 soldiers were down. Wyatt stood slowly. "They built a weapon," he whispered, "but they put a soul inside it." Selari turned, panting. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from the power she felt. "I don't know how I did that," she said. "You're not just controlling them," Wyatt said. "They're learning you, syncing with you, adapting." A warning beep came from his wrist. Final access check. Remove AI unit or ship will lock. He looked at Selari. The system still wanted her gone, but he made his choice. "Stay behind me," he said. He walked to the ship panel, pulled out a drive from his belt and jammed it into the override slot. "Manual mode," he whispered. The screen flashed. "Override not allowed. Identity rejected." Then another voice came, mechanical, cold. "The ship belongs to Protocol Command. Your mission is cancelled." Wyatt growled. "You don't own us." He stepped back, raised his weapon, and shot the control panel. The ship's light flickered. Alarms went off. Inside, systems went wild. But the door opened. "You blew up your own command panel," Selari said. Wyatt grinned. "They can build ships, but they don't know what stubborn looks like." Inside the ship, the hallway was dark, damaged. Sparks flew from the walls. But it was flying capable. Selari. I walked beside him. Her robotic legs clicked with calm rhythm. She no longer looked like a broken girl. She looked like something the invaders should fear. They reached the control room. Wyatt powered it up. Screens lit. Engines buzzed. But then something new happened. The screen changed. A face appeared. Not human. Not invader. But hers. Selari. I single quotes S face. Not her real one, but a digital version. Eyes glowing, head tilted. "Hello," it said in her voice. "You found me." She stepped back. "What is this?" The digital version spoke again. "I am part of you. Your neural signal unlocked the full AI. Your legs carry a copy of me. I was waiting for you." Wyatt frowned. "This is Protocol AI 74. "Yes," the voice replied. "But the code has changed. It is no longer pure weapon. It is now protection." Selari's hands trembled. "I was just trying to walk again." "And now," the AI said, "you can fly." The ship shook again. Another wave of invaders had arrived outside. Louder, angrier. "They don't stop," Wyatt said. "Then let's not wait," Selari said. She sat in the pilot seat. Her legs connected with the console automatically. Cables extended. Lights synced. And the ship responded. The engines roared to life. Outside, the invaders raised their weapons. But Selari's voice echoed through the ship. "You called me a weapon. Now you'll see why." The ship lifted. Fast. The ground exploded below as invaders fired. But she was already gone. The clouds broke apart as the ship flew higher. Blue sky returned, but it was a false peace. Below them, Arsa still burned. Black smoke covered the forests. Broken towers reached up like skeletons. And the war wasn't over. Inside the ship, everything felt different. Selari. I sat at the helm, her hands steady. Her robotic legs were connected to the control system. They didn't just help her walk now, they let her fly. Faster than any pilot. Smoother than any AI. The ship knew her. Wyatt stood beside her, silent. He was watching her closely, not with fear, but something like wonder. "You okay?" he asked. Selari. I nodded. "I feel like Like I'm more than myself. You are, he said. They gave you power, but you gave it purpose. The digital voice of AI-74 returned on the speaker. Incoming transmission, human command. Selari's eyes narrowed. Wyatt stepped forward and tapped the console. The screen changed. A human general appeared, graybeard. Cold eyes. Behind him, flags of the United Systems. Corporal Wyatt, the general said sharply. You disobeyed direct orders. You accessed restricted tech. You engaged with AI-74. Without clearance. Wyatt kept his voice calm. I saved a life. You endangered a war front, the general snapped. Unit AI-74 was shut down for a reason. Emotional bonding was unpredictable, dangerous. Selari stood up, her body tall and unshaken. Dangerous to who? The general looked at her, surprised. You shouldn't be talking. Why? She asked. Because I wasn't supposed to survive? The general stayed quiet. Selari walked forward slowly. Her voice was clear. You threw away a project that could save lives. Then you left me in a hole for 10 years. Now that I've become something new, you're afraid. AI-74 was built. For war, the general said, not for people. Wyatt stepped in. She's not a weapon. She's a warning. The general's face turned hard. You are now enemies of command. Your ship will be tracked. Your signal will be erased. You have 10 minutes to surrender. The screen went black. The room was silent again. Selari took a deep breath. There. Not going to help Arsa, are they? Wyatt shook his head. They won't even admit it exists anymore. She turned to the map. Arsa was still blinking. Invaded, broken, alone. Then we help it ourselves, she said. Just the two of us? Wyatt asked. No, she said, just me. She pulled up the enemy signal logs from the ship's memory. They showed invader positions, weak points, fuel lines. Places where a single attack could stop a whole fleet. She studied them carefully. Take me to point Delta 9, she said. Wyatt blinked. That's a main command post. Exactly. The ship turned in the sky. The engines flared. Wind howled outside. Within an hour, the Black Mountains returned on the horizon. Under them was the largest invader base, huge, dark breathing. Like a monster, towers of metal, ships docked. Energy pulsing. Salar, I single quotes S voice was steady. AI-74, prepare overload sequence. The AI replied, Are you sure? Yes, she said. Activate the storm. Wyatt leaned closer. You're going to overload the flight system? Just enough to shut them down. Not to destroy the ship. I need the ship alive. But the shock. It'll fry their whole grid. The ship charged. Its core. The sky turned gold. Salar, I stepped into the back chamber. Robotic arms locked onto her legs. Armor unfolded around her chest. Helmet lowered. You look like a legend, Wyatt said. I'm not, she replied. I'm just a girl who got tired of waiting. The ship hovered above the base, launching in 10 seconds, the AI said. Wyatt grabbed her arm. Come back alive. She nodded once, no smile. Just purpose. Then she dropped. A beam of blue light shot from the ship, carrying her like a thunderbolt. Wing tore past her face. Metal armor sparked as she landed in the heart of the enemy base. Everything froze. The invaders turned. She rose from the smoke, and then the base exploded with chaos. When Selari hit the ground, the earth cracked beneath her robotic legs. Dust exploded into the air. Alarms rang across the base. The invaders screamed, surprised by the sudden strike. They had prepared for armies, not for one girl, but she wasn't just a girl anymore. She moved like lightning. She kicked the nearest sentry into a wall. Her armor absorbed plasma fire. Her legs shifted between running, jumping, dodging. Every move was faster than thought. Every strike was perfect. Inside her helmet, the AI whispered, Shock pulse ready. Now, she said. A wave of blue energy exploded from her body. It hit everything: towers, ships, weapons. Lights burst. Engines died. The base shook like it had been struck by thunder. She dropped low, scanning the field. The invaders were scrambling. Their network was fried. Their drones fell from the sky like dead birds. Smoke rose from their power cores. On the edge of the base, a massive ship tried to take off. "AI," Selari said. "Boost legs." She ran flew across the ground. The armor opened vents, pushing energy to her limbs. Her speed broke sound. She hit the ship mid-lift, tore through its engines, and jumped off just before it exploded. Fire rained from the sky. But Selari walked forward, calm, glowing, untouchable. On the cliff above the base, Wyatt watched through binoculars. "She did it," he said softly. "Alone." The ship hovered near him. The AI's voice echoed inside. "Corporal Wyatt, Command is trying to locate us. Do you wish to respond?" He shook his head. "Record everything. Broadcast wideband." The AI answered. "All systems active." Wyatt opened the mic. His voice was steady. "This is Corporal Wyatt, United Systems Army. We are broadcasting live from Arsa. The person you abandoned, Selari, is alive, and she's winning." He paused. "You built her to be a weapon, but she chose to be a protector. And if anyone still believes in justice, now is the time to choose sides." He hit send. The message went out across planets, through satellites, past war zones and stations. It reached rebels, soldiers, even civilians. Everyone heard the voice of a human soldier, and the story of a girl who had been left behind. On the field below, Selari stood in the center of the broken base. The invaders were retreating. Some crawled, some limped. Others simply dropped their weapons. The AI spoke inside her helmet. "Incoming call, from Command." Selari didn't answer. The screen opened anyway. The same general appeared. His face was pale now. No longer cold. "Selari," he said, "you've made your point. Return now. We can give you control, research, power, protection." She stared at the screen. Then she spoke. "I asked for legs. You gave me chains." The general's mouth opened, but she cut the signal. She turned to the camera on her shoulder. It was still recording. "To anyone watching," she said, "I don't care what you are, alien, human, hybrid. If you were left behind like me, forgotten, broken, listen closely." She stepped forward. "They made me a weapon. I chose to be a shield, not just for Arsa but for anyone who needs it." She looked at the burning base behind her. "This isn't the end. It's the beginning." Days passed. Then weeks. But her signal never stopped. People called it the signal of hope. They played it on walls in dark cities. Rebels used her words before battle. Even children whispered her name at night. Selari, I became more than a survivor. She became a symbol. And the United Systems Command? They fell silent. Slowly, their control broke. Their secrets leaked. Soldiers walked away. Even some generals joined her cause. And Arsa? Rebuilt. Not by armies, but by those who believed. Selari, I never returned to hiding. She flew across the galaxy, helping planet by planet, always ahead of danger, always standing tall. And wherever she went, people whispered the same thing. She walked when they said she couldn't. She fought when others ran. And she made the stars listen.